Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Retro, where here I discuss a whole type of plethora of events and things that have happened. Who knows when and how they happen, it just happens, but this is your Daily Retro of all things retro video gaming and many more things to come. So, it's 2021, and everybody's got to have New Year's resolutions. I, for one, have some, but maybe you do too. I'm hoping that this year will actually be a better year than 2020, but we can all hope. Back at my job site where I work in a lab, me and some co-workers were actually discussing that. When's it going to get better? When is it going to get better? And I, for one, said probably October, maybe. I know that sounds really far off, October, but, we're just now beginning 2021. Maybe, just maybe, it might be a little bit better. One of our leads actually said she thinks that it's going to possibly be within 10 years where we will return to normalcy. I'm really hoping that's not correct, but I don't know. Let's just hope. Here's hoping for everything good to happen. So let's get on with some stuff right here and right now. I want to discuss some awesome stuff that's been happening. I'm getting a lot of emails in, and I'm also getting a lot of comments off of my TikTok page that, I have Q&As, and some people just wanted to say hi, and I want to give them a nice shout out. Some things that I've actually been thinking about as well, because I've actually had a couple of emails saying stuff like this. So this one is from Michael D. He goes, hey man, just a shout out from Ontario, Canada. I have tuned in the past several weeks to your Resident Evil Live nights back on TikTok, which are live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think they are awesome and bring back so much memories. Thank you for doing this. Thank you very much. He also goes into saying that, do I take donations for anything that I have? Now, this is a big question that a lot of people have been asking. Do I take donations money-wise? That's hard to explain. It is nice to accept donations from fans and viewers. It really is. It's really nice. But I feel pretty guilty taking people's money for doing something that I feel is a hobby. It's a hobby. So, I don't think I'm very good at what I do. I just like to show people, the memories, such as you see back here, all of my collection off, just so you guys can live vicariously through me. But, like I said, it's just a hobby. So, as for that question, do I take donations? I'm going to start saying no. Mainly because I feel really guilty for doing something like that, and this is just something that's fun. It's not really for the money, and so it's just to have fun. I know that's really hard to believe, because in this day and age, everybody's trying to make a quick buck on YouTube. Everybody's trying to make a quick $1 or 50 cents on TikTok or whatever platform they're on. Everybody's trying to make money streaming. Where in my case, I learned a long time ago that that is just not ever going to happen, regardless of how many viewers watch my stuff, how many people like my stuff. I just don't feel like this is something that I should probably do. I feel satisfied with having the views, that you, the viewer, are enjoying my content. That gives me joy. That's what makes me happy, is you guys watching my stuff and commenting. That's really all that matters to me. So commenting on the videos, liking them, being a follower, that's all that matters to me. Donations, I am super glad that you guys want to donate your money and, whatnot. Maybe in the future I might. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm going to lean towards doing donations. If we do do a big donation, I'm going to start just doing it for charity events and stuff like that. I just feel as though that is something I would rather do than just be greedy and take everybody's money. That would just be... that doesn't sound right. That just doesn't... I don't want to take people's money. So no, it is nice and it's generous for everybody to want to have do donations and stuff. That's great. It is a big thing that people ask. So, it's in the planning stages of saying no. So, but yeah, there you go, Michael. That's your answer. That's the best I can do. I know I'm going way off. He also goes off and says that he's a huge gamer, but he can't. I know, like most people, family people, I'm a family man myself. It's very hard to go off and do stuff, do video games. So I have a limited schedule, which really sucks. So I have to work around my family in order to do this. So there's your answer, Michael. Thank you for emailing me. That is really awesome. Another question that I get highly on TikTok, if you will, is what is my most expensive games? Okay, or what is my most expensive game I have in my collection? Here, there, and over there. And just all around, everywhere. It's hard to explain. It's hard to even tell you what's my most expensive game because I don't really go to websites to figure out what I have that's expensive. It wasn't until actually recently, I did a little bit of looking around and I actually found out that there were a few games that I had that are pretty expensive. So I can break it down for you guys to understand what I have. That is, I guess, generally expensive now or worth money, if you will. So this will be off the top of my head. Right now for PS2, I have Kuon, which Japanese horror game. I got that a couple of years ago when the price was around. Which this is expensive. This is pretty expensive. This is about $200. And right now, I just recently saw, looking on some websites, was, hey, this is, is a really expensive game. I'm like, no, that can't be right. And it's well over $600 now. That is ridiculous. I can't believe that I've actually, that price has jumped that high. But being From Software, the people who did Demon Souls, Bloodborne, it's interesting, I don't know. That's just for PS2. I'm pretty sure I have something else. I'm still waiting for the Matrix Path of Neo to go up, but that'll never go up. For SNES, I have Chrono Trigger, CIB. Story on that was I go to retro gaming stores all the time. I pay retail, for my games. But the thing was, I knew that at the time, this was at the time for the cartridge Chrono Trigger, was about $120, $140 just for the cartridge alone. So one of those things that I saw was a guy was walking in with his Chrono Trigger. It was CIB. From what I thought it was CIB. It had the box, at least. And he was going to go trade it in. At the retro gaming store, which I call retro gaming store. It's vintage stock. And so he had a couple of other games as well with it. So what he did was he was wanting to get some cash for it, and I was really curious. I was like, oh man, that's Chrono Trigger. At the time, I really didn't care much for Chrono Trigger. I just knew it was somewhat expensive, and I was like, hey, maybe I can buy it or whatnot. It's right there. I can get that game. Being I'm first in line, they're going to have it. They can tag it and give it to me. Well, I asked the person, because he went walking off shopping, I guess, and they were looking at everything. I was like, hey, how much would you guys want for Chrono Trigger? And they said, well, we can't sell it because it's not in our system, and it's his technically, since he can't, since we're just going to tell him how much he's got. It's like, okay. So I think when he came back, if I can remember correctly, they gave him for everything that he had, it was like $100 in store credit, I believe, and it was like $60 cash. I can't remember. It was something like it's pretty low. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I just reached in my pocket, grabbed whatever money I had, and I just counted it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have $80. I was like, hey, look. I was like, excuse me, that Chrono Trigger you have right there, I have $80 cash for you. I was like, if, they're giving you like $60 cash for your entire collection and $100 like store credit, I have $80 right here for Chrono Trigger. I'll take it off your hands. And he reluctantly said, yes, I'll take it. And I was like, oh my God. So I took that. Never got rid of it. Didn't realize that now, again, that's a $500 game, CIB. It's probably worth a little bit more now. Holy crap, that was the first big purchase I've ever made, collecting. So I have that. As you guys have seen in my TikTok videos, recently I got EVO, The Search for Eden, which that's about a $200 game as well. For NES, I have DuckTales 2. I probably got some other ones in there somewhere. I got Mega Man. Was it Mega Man 5, which is $100? It's about $100 right now, so that's pretty expensive for a game. So, I mean, like, I've got quite a bit, and that's just off of the top of my head, so I hope that satiates your appetite and whatnot for what I have. So, those are the main questions I always get on TikTok and whatnot. So, moving on, talking about retro games, which is interesting, there is the Sonic the Hedgehog prototype. Now, I'm a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan, and I hope you guys are too, because when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, the only thing that really ever comes up is the old school video games. Everybody just does not like anything 3D Sonic, except for the movie, which, in my opinion, was really, really good. I absolutely loved the movie, but we're here talking about the video game. So apparently there was a Sonic the Hedgehog prototype, which was almost a near completely different game than what it was. Now, if you guys know, there are a few different Sonic the Hedgehog prototypes. There's I believe the Simon Wah prototype. I'm probably saying that wrong. And then there's a few others that are out there. Now, I believe some of them have been debunked as being fake or not real or whatever. But this one is the original Sonic the Hedgehog game, prototype, if you will. And apparently, this came from thehiddenpalace.org. And they have everything telling us what is different and whatnot. And what they said was, dreams come true, presenting a Sonic 1 prototype for the Sega Mega Drive, which the Mega Drive is in Europe, if you don't know that. And the Sega Genesis, which is the exact same thing, is the US version. So this has it all. Clockwork Zone, which in the final Sonic the Hedgehog was Scrap Brain Zone. You have Sparkling Zone, which I believe was the second to last level. Oh my god, stage. And I can't, for the love of God, remember what that was. That's going to drive me crazy. Sorry. Then there's UFOs, Ring, if you will, the Ball, and there's just all types of just different stuff. And as you guys can see on some of the images, it's just very, very, very interesting. Instead of saying rings, it's Ring. They did a stream not too long ago of showing everything, and I can put a link down in the description below showing you guys where it's at. But it has so many different differences that didn't make it into the prototype. So, such as like Spring Hill Zone, saying goodbye. It's just a whole different types of stuff. It's really, really interesting to see prototypes. Now, whether or not you guys are all into prototypes, actually, I love prototypes. I like to see what the alpha was before the beta, and then what it was, before the game became what it is that we know now. Because sometimes you sit there and wonder, well, why didn't they put that in there instead of this? So there is just a whole ton of just different things. So some of the differences that were in the Sonic the Hedgehog, there just wasn't certain information in there. In the beginning, the Sonic team present screen is completely absent. There's no trademark symbols. Sonic's palette on the title screen is brighter. It's just a lot of just small, minute things. The level select can be activated automatically. There's different title cards, demos that don't sync up. So I guess Spring Yard was actually Sparkling Zone, which that's very interesting because that wouldn't even... How do you even call that? I mean, this is just completely different. Oh, there it is. Starlight Zone. That's the one that I couldn't remember. Starlight Zone. So Starlight Zone being accessible wasn't even in this. So if it was, you couldn't unlock it. There's Clockwork Zone and a whole bunch of... the final zone is actually missing in this game. there's just a whole ton, and I can send a link to that if you guys are very interested in that, on what all different types. There's just huge amounts of stuff that's coming out of this prototype. I mean, like, they're even listing different zones and stuff. Like, there's different Green Hill zone differences. So, just to list a few things off, rotate. The flowers are pink. In the final, they're green. Let's see. The green neutron badniks are pink in the build. Platforms float at the same time and at the same rate of speed instead of being variable speeds and differences. They rotate. The rotating light underneath Robotnik ship doesn't flash in the prototype. I mean, it's just small things like this, and these are very minute things. Some aren't, but most of them are. Here's one. Marble Zone differences. The level background contains UFOs that animate in the sky all the way throughout the level, which was removed in the final. Okay, so that would be weird. Okay, Marble Zone with UFOs. Okay, it's not enough that you go into almost a mausoleum-like zone that's filled with lava and spikes, bats, and spiked caterpillars all over the place, but it has UFOs. That would be very weird, because then, like, what would happen to the rest of the game? So, like, there's just a whole bunch of just different stuff. It's just very weird. So, Spring Yard Zone, one of my favorite zones. So apparently in most of the game, you don't earn points for hitting bumpers, blocks, or badniks. Well, I mean, I guess you do hit with badniks. And it seems like most of Act 3, in all of them, in every stage, doesn't have any objects. It's just a stage. So there's no rings, no items, no enemies. I would assume that's what they're talking about. And some of them actually don't have a boss. That's really interesting. I might figure out if I can find one of those. That's just really, really cool. And seeing some of these screenshots right here, they really... I mean, it looks almost the same, but you just go... There's some minute differences. I mean, like, Spring Hill is the same, but it's just all those words and whatnot, like goodbye, cope, and everything. It's like, what? Clockwork Zone is the exact same, and like the special stages are all the same. So basically, it would be the same game that you've seen. They just took out some weird stuff. It's just that Marble Zone with all the UFOs. Almost reminds me of the Sega Saturn logo. If you guys remember the Sega Saturn logos and whatnot, that's in commercials, how they were kind of really, really weird. Like, that's just some of the weirder stuff. And that's basically Sonic the Hedgehog prototype. It's just the alpha. It's pretty cool. I think something like that is really cool, but I don't know. That's just me. I like prototypes. I was actually thinking about investing in one. I saw a Legend of Zelda prototype. It's about $1,500, but I'm sitting here going, like, how would I even know it's a prototype? Is there any authenticity to it? Is there any paperwork? It's probably not. It's just probably some guy who's got a cartridge and says, here, it's the prototype. It's like, oh, good. I don't even know what it is. As always, thanks for watching, guys. And if you're new to the channel, check out the playlist on the right to see more adventures. And if you haven't seen my latest video, check it out on the left. Hope to see you guys on the next adventure.